This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
I'm Roby Brock. Welcome to Talk Business and Politics Daily. It is Wednesday, July 6th. Welcome to our daily digital newscast, a roundup of business and political headlines and interviews. Let's check out today's top stories. Arkansas's home sales activity continues to impress through the first 5 months of 2016, according to the Arkansas Home Sales Report. The number of homes sold in Arkansas's 4 large markets totaled 9,804 in the first 5 months of the year. That's up 11.6% compared to the same period in 2015. Talk Business and Politics' Michael Tilley says it's an impressive spike.
Roby, the home sales do continue to impress. 11.6% increase January through May in the 4 large markets we look at. Those markets are Northwest Arkansas, Central Arkansas, Fort Smith area, and Jonesboro area. Accounts for about 70 to 75% of total home sales in Arkansas. And what we're seeing is that January through May, the value of those home sales was a little over $1.7 billion. That's up more than 16%. And these numbers are compared against a healthy 2015, in which home sales were up almost 10%. And what we're seeing regionally is sales are up a little over 10% in Central Arkansas, up 14% in the Fort Smith market, up a little over 8% in the Jonesboro area, and up just under 14% in the Northwest Arkansas market. So pace is not slacking. It'll be interesting to see how it looks through the back half of 2016.
Qual Choice Health Insurance, which is owned by healthcare giant Catholic Health Initiatives, is apparently on the auction block. CHI said it's exploring its options to exit the business after sustaining large losses. Qual Choice CEO Mike Stock says the company's on solid footing and he does not expect anything major to change anytime soon in regards to a sale. More on this story at talkbusiness.net. Hey, don't put your eye out. Rogers-based Daisy Outdoor Products, maker of the famous Daisy BB gun, is being acquired by a New York-based private equity firm. Terms of the private deal were not disclosed. Daisy is the leading manufacturer and marketer of youth air guns and accessories in the U.S. Well, the controversy over Democratic presidential presumptive nominee Hillary Clinton and her email server continues today. Republicans now asking for an oversight committee investigation, potentially, of the FBI decision to not recommend charges. I am now joined by Congressman French Hill, Republican representative from Arkansas's 2nd Congressional District. Congressman, let's begin with the FBI statement from Tuesday. The FBI said charges should not be brought against Hillary Clinton for her email server issues over at the State Department, although they did say that she and others were extremely careless at the State Department. Now the House wants an investigation of the FBI investigation, and this has critics on the Democratic side saying this is just going to be a 3-ring circus. Tell me why this is not going to be a farce or a charade.
Well, Roby, good to be with you. I think what Speaker Ryan has done is asked for all the information that the FBI learned in their investigation to share that with the House, chaired with Chairman Goodlatte of the Judiciary Committee. But you know, as a former White House official and now an elected member of Congress, I'm concerned about her complete denial for the last year that she was handling classified information appropriately. And now we find out that she in fact was not. And it's concerning because many people have been prosecuted for very similar actions in the past. Navy reservists, members of the State Department. When you mishandle classified information, you're putting our country, at risk.
And so we know all of that from the FBI investigation. What is the House investigation going to find out that we don't already know?
Well, based on what Speaker Ryan told members today, it's really looking at what the investigation was, how it was done at the FBI and what they learned. I think it's really clarifying and learning what the FBI did during their investigation. And I don't know that it'll be a full investigation. I think it's really just looking through that record and determining what in fact the process was that the FBI used in this instance.
Some Republicans are calling for a special prosecutor to be appointed. Do we need a special prosecutor?
I don't think we need a special prosecutor, but I do think that this really looks like a political decision and not a judicial decision. And I think that's concerning to a lot of people when you have this kind of a pattern of misuse of the trust of the American people. Secretary Clinton certainly knows better from her work as a U.S. Senator and Secretary of State and as a former First Lady. And it just brings in question again her judgment. And she is running for the highest office in the land to be Commander in Chief. And to me, I question her judgment in addition to her veracity over the last year of absolutely concrete denying the key points about the server, the classification level, and that the server was safe, because one thing that really concerned all of us in the House was the FBI director mentioned that there was no way that that server potentially wasn't hacked, and that those classified secrets of the U.S. government were put at risk.
Well, again, I kind of come back to a question that I asked earlier. We already know all of this, so what are we going to learn that is going to be new in a House investigation of this beyond just keeping it in the news cycle for a couple more weeks?
Well, again, let me repeat. I don't know that there is going to be a House investigation. What Speaker Ryan has asked that the FBI director do is turn over the process and the records to the Judiciary Committee and let them take a look at the steps the FBI used to reach the conclusion that they did. So I wouldn't jump ahead of that very straightforward request.
All right, so there's a possibility you're saying that there will not be an investigation. There just may be a review of the evidence and a declaration that the investigation doesn't need to go any further.
Based on the letter that I saw today from the House Judiciary Committee, that's my instinct, but I guess that would depend on what they learned when they reviewed that documentation.
All right, Congressman French Hill, as always, we appreciate you. Thanks for being with us.
You bet, Roby. Thanks for the invitation.
After the break, Randy Veach with the Arkansas Farm Bureau joins us. Is progress being made on the trade front for Arkansas's farm goods? 4 minutes, 4 questions with business editor Wes Brown, plus a big debate on abortion rights. Former Arkansas Attorney General Dustin McDaniel, KATV's Janelle Lilly are at the Political Roundtable.
First Security is here. Only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be for you. First Security Bank, only in Arkansas.
Arkansas's most abundant natural resource provides the core asset for Deltic Timber Corporation. In addition to the sustainable yield stewardship of its well-stocked timberlands, Deltic adds value by integrating its efficient wood products manufacturing facilities, as well as through planned development of commercial and residential real estate. Deltic Timber Corporation, creating value for a growing Arkansas.
Randy Veach is a farmer in Manila, Arkansas, up in the northeast corner of the state. He's also president of the Arkansas Farm Bureau, the state's largest agricultural advocacy group, and he joins me to talk TPP, Cuba, catfish, and commodities. 1 T, 3 C's. How about that?
Okay.
Good to have you with us.
Yeah,
Let's talk
great.
about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP. Sure. You are actually on an advisory council. You spent maybe some days last week in Washington, D.C. talking a little bit about that big trade deal. What can you bring us up to speed on?
Well, I think that it's slowed down quite a bit, obviously, and we're looking at probably lame duck session before it comes up again. I think a lot of the politics that's going on right now, of course, both of the two presidential candidates, that the last two in there, are both come out publicly that they're opposed to TPP. I think it will be difficult even in the lame duck session, but that's the best shot they have to get it passed. It is beneficial for the farmers and ranchers of the state of Arkansas. Between 30 and 40% of our commodities that we raise in Arkansas are exported, so trade is a huge part of the agriculture economy in Arkansas.
So you say there's a net positive for the state of Arkansas at this point in time?
Yes, probably is a net positive.
All right.
We have some commodities that do not fare very well, and we have some that fare very well.
All right. Give me a little bit of which ones fare well, which ones don't fare well.
Beef, especially beef and pork, and most of the protein really do fare really well in it. Dairy is probably a little less. It's got some downside to it and some plus side to it. which could be a little more than a push, but maybe not much more, that some things, it's according to how things go. The grain side is not as good, and especially for rice. Rice could lose some markets in Mexico, which is very significant to them. It's one of our best consumers of, and one of our best places for our rice to go is in Mexico. We ship a lot of rice, sell a lot of rice to Mexico. On rice, the uptick would be some expanded markets in Japan,
Or maybe
but not
Cuba?
sure if they could go.
What about
Well,
Cuba? Yeah.
Cuba for
Let's
sure.
talk about what's going on in Cuba. Are you planning any trips back to Cuba anytime soon?
Well, not right now.
Okay.
Not right now. We're actually bringing in a delegation from Cuba to Arkansas. We want to show them what we do and how we do it, and how safe it is and affordable and everything is our commodities that we raise in Arkansas. Because, it's been a long time since they've been here, and really a delegation that would come here, it's very timely for that. I did go with the governor, last October, and decided that what we need to do now is to bring a group up here. Let's get them familiar with what we do and how we do it, and then when we get the politics right, maybe we can really, it's going to be a big plus for all ag segments, all commodities in the state of Arkansas. The two biggest winners is probably poultry and rice.
Yeah. How far away do you feel like we are from some sort of more normal relations with Cuba that would allow that bigger sales in that respect, more direct sales in that respect?
Well, I think there's been a lot of things going on lately in Cuba itself that kind of looks like that they're moving in a direction where I think our Congress and most all of them is going to want to see that increased trade with Cuba and lifting of the embargo would help to better the lifestyle of the Cubans, the citizens of Cuba, or better their lifestyle. So I think that some of the things that's going on looks like it's pointing and going in that direction, but I think Congress will want to see that. But I think it's moved faster than I thought it would from when I was down there and saw the conditions down there and the lifestyle that they were living. I've seen it move faster than I thought it would. So I think there's a lot of pressure out there. Brazil is really claiming a lot of that market right now in Cuba. So we need to move quickly if we're going to gain those markets.
You keep staying like one step ahead of me because I'm about to turn to what's happening in the commodities markets here and what's happening in commodity farming here in Arkansas. And there are a lot of things happening internationally, particularly Brazil, particularly Argentina, where we're seeing bankruptcies of some large farms. Is that going to be a plus for Arkansas farmers?
Well, it has right now, but now beans are down 60 cents today. So you see that can change so quickly. But I think that the issue there is that we've seen lower commodity prices in the grain side for about 2 years and continue to decrease in those commodity prices. But in the livestock side, and especially beef, it increased for a while, but now in the last 6 months or so, or a little longer, it started to back off quite a bit. So that runs kind of over, and it's starting to move the other direction. So we see that from comparing 2014 to 2015, the net farm income decreased by 37%. If you compare 2013 with 2015, it decreased 54%. So you can see how these prices affect. Now, input costs haven't gone down.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of break in fuels, but otherwise not.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough economic situation there. All right, last question for you. Big debate about catfish right now, Vietnamese catfish in particular being imported, finding some problems with it through USDA inspections. Why do we even have to have Vietnamese catfish? Why would anybody not want Arkansas catfish? Come on, Randy. I mean, it's the best.
Hey, I agree for sure, without a doubt. Without a doubt, I agree. I think that our catfish farmers in our nation, especially in Arkansas, we raise the safest, affordable, and a very high quality product, the highest quality we could ask for. I know recently there was a tanker load of Vietnamese fish was turned around, and one was on its way over here, and it turned around in the middle of the ocean and went back. Inspection is the key, and we got to continue on keeping that inspection of catfish, imported catfish, or catfish-like product, actually. We don't know if it's catfish or not, some of it. Right. So catfish-like products, with that coming in, we got to keep that inspection with FSIS, Food Safety Inspection Services, instead of with FDA. They have more inspectors. They inspect our domestic catfish, domestic fish, so they need to be the ones inspecting that's coming in.
Well, you're welcome to come back on TB&P anytime you want to, if you want to throw some more acronyms around. Randy Beach with Arkansas Farm Bureau, always good to be with you. Thank you so much. A quick word from our sponsors, and we will talk with Wes Brown. We're going to find out who knows more about business, him or me. I can tell you the answer to that right now. It's going to be me. And our Talk Politics Roundtable, Dustin McDaniel and Janelle Lilly. A big U.S. Supreme Court ruling has some ramifications on Arkansas law. We're back after this.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
As Arkansas's population grows, so do our energy demands. But with the right mix of resources, reliable, affordable power will always be a reality. These resources are all around us in our rivers, blowing through our trees, even right below our feet. The answer isn't focusing on one resource, it's embracing them all. The electric cooperatives of Arkansas know that a balanced approach to power builds our communities and powers our dreams. Visit themixmatters.com and see why there's power in knowledge.
All right, time now for 4 minutes, 4 questions with Wes Brown. That's the format. He's Talk Business and Politics business editor. Thank you for being here, Wes.
Well,
and
thanks.
Are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
Because I got the first question for you. I'm coming to you. Which Arkansas companies are going to be affected the most by the Brexit vote?
Well, let's kind of explain what the Brexit vote is. Brexit is United Kingdom's vote to exit the European Commission, and it's had amazing fallout across the financial markets. And in Arkansas, I guess the industry, I wouldn't say companies, but the sector that has the most impact has been Arkansas banks. What the Brexit vote has caused is called a real loss of market capital in European banks, and that has transferred into U.S. equities, U.S. stocks. Bank of the Ozark, Home Bank shares, and Simmons First National Bank also a substantial two-day drop over the last week. So the Arkansas banks, other sectors that directly import to United Kingdom will also be affected.
Yeah, like Walmart, for instance, with big operations there. Yeah. All right.
I guess my question to you is about marijuana. Well, let me see how we're going to say this. Marijuana appears very popular in Arkansas,
right.
But will medical, put aside political issues, will medical marijuana benefit the Arkansas economy?
Well, there will be a boost to the Arkansas economy just from the commerce that's associated with it, but it is going to bring some problems with it if it becomes enacted as well. I think when you look at some other states that have done that, you've seen some issues. Number one, in the agricultural sector, where they don't have enough regulation initially to monitor the crops and control some of the pests that attack some of the crops. That's been a kind of a bad side effect in Colorado. And you've also, too, you've got some negative on workforce. You know, we have a problem here in Arkansas with finding enough qualified workers who can pass a drug test with a lot of employers. So whether marijuana is legal or illegal, that's going to be an issue that could compound that a lot more. So I would say it's a mixed review. There will definitely be a bump in tax revenues. There'll definitely be some increase in commerce, but it will bring some negatives with it too. All right, GDP, gross domestic product, posted another quarter of anemic, yet I will say it was positive growth here. We have got the Brexit vote. We've got a presidential election cycle going on, and we have kind of the Fed's on pause right now.
Right.
Is there any chance we will see something jumpstart the economy in a bigger way in the second half of this year?
If there's something out there that can jumpstart the economy, I haven't seen it. We've seen low gas prices, especially everything on the energy side. Natural gas prices have driven down electric and power costs for both businesses, consumers, and the industry. But there's really not anything out there unless you're going to have a war or something else that's going to really boost consumer spending. Consumers right now are pausing their spending right now. They don't have a lot of confidence that they can get 3 or 4 straight quarters of momentum. So I don't see anything out there going to jumpstart the economy, but I do think if we would see continued job growth and companies continue to hire, that'll gradually lead into the economy becoming a little bit stronger, and then you see some upticks.
Last question to you.
Okay.
You get to ask me.
Okay, the last question is, we've got a lot of business, a lot of announcements, recent announcements down in South Arkansas. That part of the state the economy has been depressed for quite a while, but we had some great announcements. Sun Paper, the governor announced the Sun Paper of China is going to come down and build a paper mill, and there's a couple of other companies, biomass companies that are building in the so-called wood basket. The question is, has the wood basket in South Arkansas turn the corner, and how will it benefit the state economy?
Well, the timber industry still is reliant on the housing market,
Right.
and we are seeing some good news in the housing market. Home sales are good, new housing starts are increasing, but they're not increasing rapidly, and there still is a really big, I think, deficit with starter homes, new homes that are affordable for first-time home buyers. I don't see anything huge happening in that, and that's the biggest thing that would affect the timber industry and help South Arkansas. But those announcements that you mentioned are big. There's about 8.9 million tons of pine timber in South Arkansas that goes unused, unharvested every year. Sun Paper alone will take up almost half of that at 4 million tons. So when that comes online in a couple of years, that's a big potential economic driver there.
Down there. Yeah.
It will, along with the other things. All right. He's Wes Brown, business editor for Talk Business and Politics. Right. Good to have you with us, my friend. You can catch his great work every day at talkbusiness.net. Now, the U.S. Supreme Court made a major ruling last week on a Texas abortion access law. It has ramifications for Arkansas law, too. Former Arkansas Attorney General Dustin McDaniel, KATV's Janelle Lilly are back to discuss after this.
Circuits turn on the lights by making a connection, by closing the loop. At Entergy, we believe our economy is circular too. What you put in comes back. So we invest billions in new infrastructure, which helps attract new industry, which helps create new jobs. We partner with local communities to electrify the economy, and together we power life. Entergy.
At Deltic Timber Corporation, we believe in the responsible creation of communities, in the development of neighborhoods that bring convenience and comfort to life, while respecting the beauty and delicacy of nature. Like the harmonious balance of environment and expansion found in the thriving communities of Chenal Valley and Chenal Downs in Little Rock, and Red Oak Ridge in Hot Springs. Because the best communities in the natural state are the ones that help keep it that way.
Last week, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that a Texas law that supporters said would improve women's health for those seeking abortions was found unconstitutional, actually restricted access to abortions. The ruling of the Texas law could have ramifications on a similar Arkansas law. Former Arkansas Attorney General Dustin McDaniel and KATV's Janelle Lilly were part of our recent Talk Politics Roundtable to discuss. Another ruling here, abortion access was at the center of a Texas case here. The Supreme Court said that there's a series of obstacles to some, medical safeguards to others, depending on your political position here, restricted access to abortion clinics and to procedures. This was a huge victory for the pro-choice movement. What are the Arkansas ramifications of this ruling?
Well, first of all, it gave the 1992 ruling a lot of teeth that they had in saying that any ramifications can't really have outcomes that will prohibit a woman's access. So requiring a doctor to have admission privileges at a hospital is one of those things that would effectively close down 50% of the abortion clinics in Texas. And as far as like Arkansas ramifications, you could speak to this probably better than I could, but I know we have a current case that is similar in some ways.
Well, Planned Parenthood versus Casey is what established modern jurisprudence on how Roe v. Wade is interpreted. So it set an established right for a woman that cannot be impeded by undue burden, those being the magic words. It also set the time at which the rights of the unborn child begin, and that being at the point of viability. Right. So we've had two big laws in Arkansas that were passed, one being the fetal heartbeat bill, one being the fetal pain bills, sometimes known as the 12-week, 20-week bills. Both of them, the legislature pretty well knew they were not going to survive constitutional muster when they passed it, but they believe, much like slavery once being constitutional, you've got to keep going, you've got to keep fighting, and sooner or later you're going to win. But they were struck down, it was expensive, and we have another one that's not exactly like the Texas law, but it's close, and it most likely will not survive muster either.
So 30 seconds, is it going to stop the legislature from passing these types of laws?
No, I'm afraid it doesn't.
No, they won't do it. That's former Arkansas Attorney General Dustin McDaniel and KATV's Janelle Lilly. You can catch more of their conversation on our website at talkbusiness.net. Well, that is all for this edition of Talk Business and Politics Daily. Keep up with the latest news on our website at talkbusiness.net, and there's always something in the works. Follow us on Twitter at TB Arkansas or on Facebook or LinkedIn. You can download our podcast through the iTunes Store or through Stitcher. Just plug in Talk Business and Politics to find us. Also, if you want to receive our daily email newsletters, they're free, and you can receive them every morning in your inbox before 7 a.m. Just email me at roby@talkbusiness.net and I'll sign you up. Well, that wraps up today's Talk Business and Politics Daily Digital Newscast. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, take care.